welcome to SVG-TV News for Tuesday, December the 1st, 2015. I am Jennifer Richardson. We begin first with election heat. The Organization of American States, the OAS, will send an electoral observation mission to the general elections here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines on December 9th, according to the agreement signed on Monday. The Secretary General of the OAS, Luis Almagro, said the mission will focus on issues of electoral organization and gender equality and respect for conditions of equality and transparency in the electoral competition. This will be the fifth mission that the OAS has deployed to SVG. These include the general elections of 2001, 2005, and 2010, and the 2009 referendum on constitutional reform. The mission in St. Vincent and the Grenadines will be led by the Chief of Staff of the Secretary General, Ambassador Jacinth Henry Martin, and will include observers from different nationalities who will be deployed in all 15 constituencies of the country before, during, and after the electoral process. Leader of the Unity Labour Party, Dr. Rav Gonsalves, has called on supporters to remain focused and loyal. In his address at a ULP meeting in Dixon last night, Dr. Gonsalves says if his party wins, there will be 2 days off after the elections. He further stated that there are opportunities to be gained with the projects being undertaken by the ULP and called on the people of Dixon to help the ULP's candidate for the North Windward constituency, Montgomery Daniel, pull off another victory at the polls.
I am telling you, this is not the time for wavering. This is not the time for grumbling. This is not the time for complaining. This is the time for us to march forward together. Get the great victory on the 9th of December. And I promise you, this being the last run that I am making as party leader, I am promising you, now that we have gotten over the worst aspects of the global economic crisis, and we're finishing the international airport, that you are going to see the benefits gained from the education revolution and the investments which are coming here to create the 9,000 jobs which we have to create over the next 5 years in the various projects and investments that we have.
Dr. Gonsalves further states that his party has accomplished projects that many believed could not be done, such as the Rabaca Bridge and the Argyle International Airport. He believes that future projects such as the city at Honest-Vale and the tunnel under King Garden are feasible.
A tunnel under King Garden Point to make another point of entry. I hear people talking. Do you know that we did a preliminary study which tells us to build a road around King Garden to accommodate the traffic is more expensive than going under the tunnel? You hear me? They wanted us to do a tunnel at Rabuca, but we saw the way it was easier to do it above ground. Now we want to go with a tunnel under Cane Garden. They say go above ground, but it's more expensive to go above ground. To run this thing, you have to have a plan. And if you don't have it, you have to ask Ralph.
Isis Gonsalves, daughter of the leader of the Unity Labour Party, the ULP, Dr. Rav Gonsalves, is also endorsing the ULP's candidate Montgomery Daniel. In her maiden address on a political platform, the young female attorney described herself as a star defender while endorsing Daniel.
A respectable man, a man who comes from the people, who led agriculture in the right way in this country after the ULP gained power in 2001. And Sabota's continuing the good work. I'm especially happy now, even though at first I didn't realize that I would be the star defender. And we've all become star defenders of the star. Why? Because the opposition, the NDP, spreads lies and has launched a smear campaign instead of launching plans, policies and programs.
She accused the NDP of being engaged in a smear campaign to destroy the ULP and called on voters to remember the success of the ULP's programs, such as the Education Revolution.
Which has gone very far, has brought us very far, and we still have further to go. I remember I was 11 years old when the Education Revolution was announced. And this Education Revolution saw me through high school, A-level. All when I was in A-level, the NDP was going about saying how Ralph had people children in board house, in board classroom. In those board classrooms, my classmates and I, we strived. We had opportunities after that to go to university. I went on to the University of the West Indies, and many of my counterparts would not have had a chance to do this if it were not for this government and the progressive policies in relation to education.
With a slate of 7 candidates, the SVG Green Party is wasting no time pushing their policies. In an interview with SVG-TV News, leader of the SVG Green Party, Ivan O'Neill, says that jobs and revenue creation are top priorities of his party. O'Neill further stated that the ULP has lost its way and believes that jobs can be gained if relations with Taiwan are severed and the wealthy population in the Grenadines are taxed. The SVG Green Party leader also says that they will formulate links with chains and build $1 billion financial complex if elected to office.
They are begging and borrowing. And I am saying quite clear that there are 2 areas where we can get our revenue straight away, and that is with Taiwan, our fish, and the super rich of Mustique and Canavan. We need to tax them. And unless we do that, we're not going to have revenue to move the country forward. In Taiwan, making billions of dollars for us. And we're saying they should pay the tax. But our policy really is to cut ties with Taiwan and go with mainland China. I have paid 3 visits to the embassy for China in Trinidad, and they're willing to come with us. But they would not come here as long as Taiwan is here. So we have a choice. We cut ties with Taiwan, we open ties with mainland China, and we build a big fish complex here, $1 billion fish complex, and move forward.
O'Neill describes the ULP's education revolution as a fallacy. He also emphasized the need for a science and technology university and says that there is too much reliance on scholarships here in SVG.
We have to build a university here to go forward. We're relying on the scholarships, and the scholarships is not the way forward. Let us be proud of ourselves and build a university, a science and technology university for our whole country, and show the world that we are capable. What we have here, we have so many people coming from abroad, consultants coming in here and telling us what to do, and we are quite capable of ourselves. The problem we have is that the ULP regime, all of them in the government there, they cannot manage finance. That is a major problem here. They want 4 terms and they cannot manage finance. They have a number of lawyers in here. They go to university and they pick up an LLB. Ralph Gonsalves pick up an LLB, and he come back here and he said he wanted to be Prime Minister. He's a joke.
And the East Kingstown candidate for the Democratic Republican Party, Karima Paris, is urging Vincentians not to vote for divisive politics, but to stand in solidarity for change, freedom and unity. Paris was speaking at a recent meeting by the DRP in North Central Windward, which will be contested by her colleague, Haran Grant. Paris says that the current political climate in SVG has created separation and hatred among the people and has distracted everyone from what is most important. The East Kingstown candidate, who is contesting the 2015 December 9th elections against the NDP's Arnim Eustace and the ULP's Luke Brown, told persons present not to make the terrible misinformed decision to vote for a party because of family tradition, but more so the policies that they present.
To bring balance in our society, to bring balance in Parliament, that is what we have to do to save our country. Yes. And I'm appealing to you, help us to save St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Help us to save St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Do not vote along party lines. Vote on the issues that affect you, the people in North Central. Vote on the issues that will develop our nation. That is what you have to do. Yes. Don't forget Harold Grant, your own, who was born right here in Bayer. Don't forget him. He is a man of heart, a man of good conscience, and we are asking you, the good people who are listening to me, to vote for Harold Grant. Yes. We voted for Harold Grant, and we put in our X next to the heart for development in our country.
A recent poll conducted by Caribbean Development Research Services Incorporated, CADRES, has indicated a victory for the Unity Labour Party, the ULP, at the December 9th elections. According to the head of the CADRES group, Peter Wickham, out of the 800 persons polled, 43% indicated their intent to vote for the ULP, and 28% said that they will be voting for the NDP, while 29% were either unsure or preferred not to say. Wickham postulated that on previous occasions, given the electoral history of SVG, his organization has been able to successfully estimate who will benefit from the uncertain voters, and in this case, it will be the ULP. General Secretary and campaign manager of the ULP in a recent radio interview said that the poll by CADRES only confirms his projections, and he is so comfortable about a party win that he has started planning both the celebration rally and the swearing-in ceremony. It should be noted that CADRES's projection for a likely win in favor of plus 5% in favor of ULP is based on stated voter intentions on the weekend of Friday, November 20th. Meanwhile, Public Relations Officer of the New Democratic Party, the NDP, Vinette Frederick, has indicated that the present prediction of a ULP victory is a political strategy designed by the ULP functionary Peter Wickham to show a particular political outcome, especially in a situation where the facts on the ground show certain defeat for the ULP. She said that the ULP and Peter Wickham are attempting to make the election a referendum on leadership while ignoring the issues such as joblessness, rising crime, government corruption, and violence against women, which are affecting the country. Frederick further commented that the NDP has an excellent leader and team who are best suited for turning SVG around, and Vincentian should remain confident and focused that change will come on December 9th, 2015. Dispelling what he terms as lies being circulated by the Unity Labour Party, leader of the New Democratic Party, Annie Eustace, on radio on Monday, said the NDP has a core base of youth fully behind the party.
Those who feel that the NDP has no youth support will have to think again. The program was well conducted and run essentially by young people, and they did a very good job in that exercise. So congratulations to our young Democrats.
Eustace also noted his displeasure with persons he said who have been involved in illegal voter registrations and says they will face a court of law.
The absence of any transparency in that regard, and we know that many people are registered in different constituencies. What's wrong with me?
Constituencies.
they don't belong. And we're still doing some work in that regard. And there too I'll name some new names of persons who I know for sure who are not registered or don't belong to East Kingston, but somehow they are now registered to vote in East Kingston.
The NDP leader also made it clear that his party has no intentions of destroying the home health care program and promised to have a salary increase for nurses of $250 if elected into office.
And in our discussions in preparing for our manifesto, we agreed that we would expand that program, not terminate it. When we were discussing all the issues, we agreed that that's one of the programs, and we published it in our document some time ago when we gave a list of issues that we were tackling. In addition to that, there was a lie about us in relation to the nurses, the nursing program. There was an issue in relation to that, about the $1,000 stipend that they get, and that the NDP would in fact stop that. That is not true. That again is a direct lie. In fact, when I discussed this matter recently, I indicated publicly that the NDP will increase the stipend from $1,000 to $1,250.
Today, December 1st, is being celebrated as World AIDS Day, and the Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment, in collaboration with Scotiabank and the St. Vincent Cooperative Bank, held a rally today to commemorate the day. The rally began with a march which commenced outside the Peace Memorial Hall and proceeded through Kingston, ending at Heritage Square. Addressing the rally, Director of the HIV/AIDS Unit, Firosa Roach, says, despite statistical data which show that persons continue to be infected with HIV, she is confident that the goal of reaching 0 new infections in SVG is achievable despite arduous challenges. She added that testing is an important tool in being able to achieve the goal of 0 new infections.
The Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment is confident that we can and will get to 0. And as we look towards achieving this goal, we are encouraging the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines to get tested, to take control of your future, take control of your lives, know your status, as knowing your status is the first step in preventing the spread of HIV and one step closer to getting to 0. St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the vision of getting to 0 is very possible, but not without profound challenges. We have a lot of work ahead of us to do to end this devastating epidemic, to truly get to 0.
Also speaking at the ceremony was Chelsea Ferdinand, the CARICOM Youth Ambassador, who noted that an HIV-positive status is not a death sentence, as treatment and care can prolong life and allow one to live a productive life. She, however, noted that discrimination and lack of support can hamper all the advances made. Ferdinand also called for all members of society to end discrimination and engage in responsible behavior.
HIV doesn't decide to attack the poor, uneducated, white and black, teacher or doctor. There are no boundaries. Therefore, we can learn from the HIV virus and take this approach in fighting it. Be limitless, boundless, and perpetually fervent in addressing the issue of discrimination. Young people, in the campaign against HIV and AIDS, there is a task for all. This may entail taking an active part in the AIDS awareness initiatives, abstaining from sexual activity until marriage or until you are mature enough to make informed decisions, getting tested regularly, and encouraging your friends and family to do the same. There is no shame in knowing, but there is danger in not knowing.
Chief Medical Officer Simone Kieser Beach noted that all members of society play a vital role in achieving the target of 0 new infections. She called for the integration of persons living with HIV/AIDS into their everyday life and services. Dr. Beach gave the assurance that her ministry will provide care and treatment for persons living with HIV/AIDS in order to reach the goal of 0 new infections and create healthier communities.
Therefore, the Ministry of Health, Wellness and Environment will continue to and will intensify our efforts to integrate HIV/AIDS care into the primary care services with a focus on identifying geographic and at-risk populations and communities. Another effective intervention is the expansion of treatment. This will include the treatment of all HIV-positive persons, regardless of their state, maintaining treatment and attaining virus suppression. This aggressive treatment framework supports healthier communities in which healthier, positive communities exist. This is the goal of the ministry.
And at the rally, more calls were made for the end of discrimination against persons living with HIV/AIDS. HIV activist Odinga Lonnie Warner said that persons living with the disease face stark challenges in daily life. Warner said that stigmatization is evident in every part of their daily life, but is hopeful for its end and is confident in meaningful change for persons living with the disease.
Stigma just does not happen in the community. It happens in every aspect of every area of our lives. We are being stigmatized through the health system. We are being stigmatized through church. We are being stigmatized through our families. And it's time for that to stop. I am going to be the voice of people living with and affected by HIV and AIDS. And my name is Odinga Louis Warner. And I'm going to take this day to advocate, to advise my friends, PLHIVs. Today is your day. You have a voice. You can stand. And stand united, change can come. And this is what we are hoping for. Change can come.
Another HIV/AIDS activist, Sidney Joseph, says while he is grateful to be alive, he laments the loss of many of his compatriots to the disease and is calling for more support from all aspects of society in order to combat HIV/AIDS.
But it needs support. And the call today is for more support. So then we are still calling on the churches, support us in prayer. And all entities, because we know HIV is a call and a heal that everyone should be aware of. It has nothing to do with politics or denomination or creed or race, because HIV have no faith.
Here are some highlights from the performances at the HIV/AIDS rally held earlier today.
Broken, battered, bruised, and betrayed, I stand to face the world I once knew, looking at it through different, tainted eyes.
'Cause all they need is to know somebody cares.
We must support those who have fallen into the hands of this vicious monster. For when one gets sick, the whole community is affected. Let's work overtime to stamp out this AIDS epidemic.
The Homer family of Correa is seeking the assistance of the public in locating one of their family members, Alfonso Homer, better known as Buck. Buck reportedly left home on Saturday night and has not returned. The 75-year-old man was last seen wearing a black track pants with gray streaks at the side and a black t-shirt. He has gray beard and gray hair on his head. He is also mentally ill. Anyone who may have seen him or knows the whereabouts of Alfonso Buck Homer is asked to contact his family at 432-0114 or 492-1348 or the nearest police station.